Welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast, the show where we chat about all things in My Hero Academia. They thought it was over, Isaac. We did a whole series review. We said this was the final My Hero Academia, but we were blessed with more. Bones just keeps puppeting this corpse of a show, and we're back
Yeah,
talking more My Hero Academia post time skip. We're in present day MHA. How you doing, buddy?
I'm exhausted, but I'm good. I'm good.
Has there ever been a show where I say how you doing and you don't say you're exhausted? I feel like all 100 episodes of My Hero Academia, you've said
Well,
I'm exhausted at some point.
there are sometimes, but some more than blah. There are probably more times than not that I'm not exhausted. So,
That's all right. That's all right. Uh, we are now present day, so I'm once again present Mike, your host for the evening, and we're gonna just talk about more My Hero Academia. This episode is literally called "More." If you didn't know, this is adapting chapter one. No, yeah, chapter 438 plus one. Is that what that is?
I
Uh,
believe so.
430 plus one. And in this episode, we are in present day. One thing I love about My Hero Academia is that it was always narrated by Deku. Deku's a history teacher, if you didn't know. So I feel like the entire show is Deku teaching his class about this great hero war that he experienced his first year in high school. But Deku's not the narrator anymore because he's not telling a story anymore because we're in present day. And that's just a touch that I really appreciated with this episode. We open up with a vision from Ochako Uaraka. She's seeing the ghost of Himiko Toga. Um, Isaac, what did you think of this opening? Like, even all this time later, 10 years later, essentially, Ochako is being reminded of Himiko. And I thought it was very fascinating how Uraka's like, maybe she's an ember that's still left with inside me. It's not just her having a dream, it's Toga is in her DNA. They are like forever bound together in a strange way, almost like one for all.
I mean, considering how Toga went out and all that jazz, and how she has some like how could it have saved her or stuff like that. I wouldn't call it survivor skill, but close to. And so I can understand due to the combination of those two that there is, well, that mental state, whatever you want to call it, exists. You are muted, by the way.
Thank you. But yeah, it's interesting how it very much was survivor's guilt. I mean, we even saw that in the epilogue, right, where Uraka's crying her eyes out because she feels guilty about this, and Deku takes her by the hand. If you want to hear all about My Hero Academia in hands, I'm sure Isaac will link the video here somewhere. But Deku takes her by the hand because he said it's the easiest way to ease someone's heart. Um, and I think that's important as we get further in this episode. Uraraka is still holding on to Toga. And what I love about this episode is that it's called More in the meta sense that, yes, it's just more My Hero Academia, but it's called More because these heroes need more in life. They're looking for more than just being a hero. My Hero Academia is the perfect series when it teaches you about what it means to be a hero, what it means to care for others, to put someone else's life above your own, self-sacrifice, right? Fighting for the greater good, reaching out a hand to a crying child. But there's still more to life, right, than just saving the day. You also need to learn to enjoy life. And more is all about
Agreed.
that. That entire episode is all about these characters finding more to life than just being a hero, which is, I think, very, very wonderful, is all I can say. Um, as we move across the episode, we find out that the Class A students are reuniting because Shoto Todoroki has become the number two hero. And Isaac, I just want to toss to you for a second because I talk a lot. Uh, what are your thoughts on Todoroki becoming number two in his story arc? Kind of like culminating and ending in this moment.
I mean, it's how should I put it? It's kind of fitting considering. Then, how should I put it? It gives Todoroki the chance to prove that he's a great hero, but at the same time, it's it would have been, how should I put it? If Todoroki would have been the number one, speaking hypothetically, Endeavor would have gotten his goal throughout that he had at the end of the, or should I say, goal with Todoroki, and I don't think Endeavor deserves to have a quote unquote happy ending if you really think about it. He's him being number two is a necessary casualty, if you get what I mean. Besides the one that is number one, and makes a lot of sense considering how he is as a character and all that. Yes, but that's besides the point.
I You bringing up Endeavor, I think, is why I actually really love what we do with Shoto as a character in this story. And I think it's easier for us to just pick characters and talk about them as opposed to talking about the episode in chronological order, if that makes sense. Um, Shoto becoming the number one hero or the number two hero, and then having that conversation of like he wants to pick up pottery and he wants to make bowls and he wants to make chopsticks because food is one of his passions shows the ultimate growth, and it's such a wonderful end for his character because Endeavor from birth wanted this kid to surpass All Might and become the greatest hero in the world, become the number one, and Shoto is choosing to rest at number two. Shoto is choosing to say, hey, I still want to find happiness, I'm cool with being number two. He's not chasing Lemillion. Lemillion, the comedy hero, is number one. I'm sure Deku's going to be on his heels in a minute. But I think it's really beautiful that Shoto can just say, hey, I want to find more out of this life. Because his entire story was about him finding himself outside of his father and his family. And he's at a point in his mid-20s where he's achieved the goal of becoming a hero. He became like All Might, but he didn't become the thing Endeavor made him to be. And that to me is a very satisfying conclusion for Shoto Todoroki's story. Also, he kind of looks like Endeavor, which I think is very interesting. He just doesn't have the flame goatee, but like he got kind of big. He very much resembles his father, but he's still walking down his own path.
I mean, considering how big his father is and his brothers are kind of, is it not the one that never wants to hear from Endeavor again? He's also
Not
kind of
so.
big in, yeah, not so. Well, it's in the gene to be big in the well, it's in the genes, so to say. So I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, it's not surprising. It's just where we left these characters, they've grown up. And I appreciate that we get to see that in subtle ways where it's like, of course he would grow up to look kind of like his father, or of course Bakugo would get a little bit taller. Um, I just appreciate those small changes because they still look like themselves. It still very much is Shoto Todoroki. I think of Naruto, right? And think of these character designs in Boruto and how weird some of them look. Like Naruto just does not look like the same person most of the time. I'm glad that I can still see Shoto and in his character design, even though he does look a little bit different. We're going to talk about the main hook of this entire premise is that Deku also needs to find more. We've gone 10 minutes without me mentioning Izuku's name, just about. Uh, he and Bakugo and Kirishima are going to Todoroki's celebration. One, the seats are just as squishy as they were in the manga, which I still don't understand, but I love the visual gag. I also love Bakugo and Izuku's relationship. Did you notice that Deku is making fun of Bakugo almost nonstop in this episode? Like their friendship has mellowed out so much that Deku can roast Bakugo. without
And it's so satisfying.
without fear. And Bakugo just has to take, and he'll yell and he'll scream, and it's like, but this is the relationship that they actually needed to have. They're, neither of them had to change drastically, but there's not that hatred and violence between the two anymore. Um, and it is satisfying. But Bakugo wants Deku to become his sidekick because he still wants to have that rivalry. And Deku's just like, I'm happy teaching. I enjoy teaching this next generation of kids. He even calls them in the English dub. He says, "My kids," which is something American teachers do all the time. It's very cute. Um, but Bakugo basically says, if everyone is special to you, then no one is. And as Izuku meditates on that, you see it starts to click. I want your thoughts on if, because we read this in the manga, did Bones adapt this well? Was this communicated well to you? This entire like Deku finally embracing romance in his life.
I mean, I say it two things. I don't recall if I said it during our chapter review, but finally, better late than never, kid realized stuff. I mean, even the densest boy wakes up, or, well, you know what I mean. And
It took
second of
him
all,
10 years.
I know. It's it, it's just, but okay. Well, that's besides the point. But I do believe they did that. Granted, a lot of it is because Horikoshi didn't want to focus on romance, and I can completely understand that. But how should I put it? How should I put it? He shouldn't have done it as obvious as it was. If you didn't want that, if you really if you get what I mean, or should I
Yeah.
say, it wasn't as obvious throughout the show as a whole. If you, but considering, well, it was a good payoff, and they handled that well and more.
I think what I appreciate about that payoff is that it's very realistic. Um, we've talked about maybe they'll do a whole like expansion of this and do like a Naruto the Last type of deal where we have Naruto and Hinata, finally start
I wouldn't.
to become a thing. But what I appreciate is that in Naruto the Last, love that movie. It's phenomenal. But it very much is kind of like Naruto doesn't think about Hinata at all, and all of a sudden he falls in love with her. And that's kind of like eh. But here, Deku realizes that he does love all of his classmates, but he has that realization of, but I think I like Uraraka the most, and I want more of her, and I want to spend more time with her. And I appreciate the slow build up. I don't know if it should have taken 10 years for the build up to get to this point. I feel like this probably should have happened in high school, but
Uh
I
huh.
I like that, like at least in like year 3, I feel like this should have happened around that point, but that's besides the point. Um, I appreciate that Deku has that realization of I want to see where this goes. This isn't them falling in love. This isn't them getting married. This isn't them having kids. This is just them seeing where this goes. And that subtlety is something that we don't really see, especially in these types of shonen where it's like, and everybody gets married at the end and we're happy and it's over.
It's
But
good.
yeah,
I was just gonna say it's refreshing that it wasn't an all or nothing stuff. It's in between.
right.
I think.
It's not even in between. They just decide to go on one date. That's where this ends. Is that we're gonna keep talking and see what happens, and we don't know. And I think if you're on the shipping side of the My Hero Academia fandom, this means both the sides lose because Baku Deku doesn't happen, and then Izucha also don't really know what happens after this. But like they go on a date, I assume, but that's left to interpretation. But the point is, Deku's finally thinking about life besides being the next All Might, besides being the greatest hero, besides working at UA. Deku's learning to experience life. And I appreciate that Himiko Toga and Tomura Shigaraki were in these finales, in these last two episodes here, and they finally disappear and they fade away once these heroes can finally rest. Right? We wanted to create a world. Hawks wanted to create a world where a hero had too much free time on their hands, and I think this episode finally shows that that's probably the case. Deku doesn't have to rush to save the day. He can finally take time and think about himself. And I think that's great for his character. I think it's good for Uraraka's character. We didn't talk about it, but she's into court counseling and she's trying to make sure that kids get the help they need because she saw what happened to Toga and to Toya and to Shigaraki and to even Deku to a certain extent, right? Deku's out there and they didn't even want him to come back to UA until she pleaded with them. So I think both these characters end up in a really great place, but also the show wraps in a way where they can finally find happiness, which is why we don't need more of My Hero Academia. It pains me to say because I can keep watching the show, but I think Horikoshi wrapped it up in a way where we don't need to see these characters again. What do you think?
I mean, it has a great ending, but that doesn't mean Bones are gonna push Horikoshi to get more.
I
Be
didn't
it
say if
anime or
Bones was going to force it. I was asking you, do you think this is a good stopping point?
I mean, technically it's a good stopping point, but with how
Mhm.
Bones like to milk this show, I don't think it's a stopping point. I just don't know if it will be a anime original made by Bones, overseen by in Horikoshi, similar to how Dragon Ball Super was when Akira Toriyama was alive, or well, just an anime original in general or stuff like that.
Well,
Just a question. Well, just a
we've talked.
question on. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I was going to build off of that because we've had conversation of Horikoshi has been on record saying he wants them to keep making My Hero movies just like they keep making Dragon Ball movies. He's like, keep telling original stories. He said that, so we at the very least will probably get another My Hero movie. And I do think that there were some changes that happened in this episode. Me being the historian that I am, uh, there were some dialogue changes. I watched it in dub, so this could just been a dub translation. But um, in the book, I think they make more of a point to say that there's no crime that's really happening anymore. But here we have a new scene added where they go out and stop this carjacking. Which, by the way, if you stole a car and then 20 of the top 100 heroes come after you, I don't know what I'd do. I think I'd crap my pants, Isaac. What do you mean? 20 of the top 100 came after me for stealing
I
a car.
mean, well, have you? How should I put it? Overkill in a nutshell.
They could have just sent Mineta and it been over with. He could have stopped that. I'm pretty sure he could have stopped that. But they all go. Um, and we finally see Deku's suit in action. That's always been my thing. It's like we need to do something so we can see that suit. We see the suit, and he's got like these Iron Man repulsors that he's using for like super speed. Really cool. And then he uses Black Whip, and Black Whip just looks like Black Whip. I kind of hate that Bones didn't change the animation on Black Whip. Like make it look more like a tether or a spider web. I think that could have been fun. But anyway, they make a point to show that crime is still happening and these heroes are still needed, more so than the manga did. And I think that might have been Bones being like, well, there's still work for them to do. Or Deku's like, oh, I am teaching on the side. In the manga, he says, I am only a hero on weekends, but he doesn't say that in the show. He just says, I'm a hero when I'm not teaching. So it makes it sound like now instead of it just being a thing he does twice a week, it's a thing he does every day after school, which means that there's probably more crime happening in the anime's version of this than the mangas, which I think just leaves the door open for another villain to show up eventually. But I don't know, like I don't have much to add to this. I think it was just a really fun like epilogue for these characters. We got to see where a lot of them ended up. We killed the Jiro Kaminari ship for some reason. I don't know why we did that, but
Hmm.
that was funny. I don't know. I feel like we've got to do a fifth movie. I know we're getting more My Hero Academia because we have the I Am a Hero 2 shorts short that's coming out. They didn't say, they said it was a short anime special. So I assume it's shorter than a full episode and it's going to focus on Eri and her in high school. So that would be cute. But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't have
that
much
would
more
be
to add
cute.
here.
I'm just gonna say this. We all know that what the next obvious threat is for the My Hero universe.
What is that?
You know what? Where is it? There it is. And oh,
Aliens! I mean, aliens in the My Hero Academia verse actually wouldn't be surprising. I know what you're doing, and for those who read manga, they fully get what Isaac is saying. For those who don't, Boruto. But there's another thing that happens that we can't even talk about here. But
I thought the sequel.
yeah, um, aliens in My Hero would be weird, but I wouldn't hate it. I guess I don't know. It depends on how they handle it. If they say all quirks came from this alien and it's this Deus Ex Machina like Naruto did with Kaguya, I wouldn't like that. But you know, if Brainiac attacks, that's whatever, and Deku has to suit up. That's cool. Um, I think we need to get Deku and Koichi teamed up. We got Bones has to get this last season of Vigilantes out. We didn't really do a Vigilantes review, so I didn't want to touch on that. I thought this season of Vigilantes was fun. Um,
Same.
I didn't love it as much as the first. I think we didn't have enough Knuckle Duster, and the day in the life of Koichi and Pop Step just kind of got old after a while. I loved all the All Might stuff we got. I love the Eraserhead origin, like 2 episodes we got. But yeah, anything with Captain Celebrity, it kind of got old for me. What about you? What'd you think on Vigilantes?
Yeah, Captain Celebrity is a bit. Eh.
Yeah,
I do find it funny though that that Sean Schimmel is doing the English voice for Captain Celebrity though, but that's besides the point.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Vegeta has the English voice for All Might. Goku has the English voice for Captain Celebrity, and they switched the place on the strongest. So,
That's
which is kind of funny.
that is really funny. But yeah, I'm hoping Vigilantes end strong. I have not read the final few chapters of Vigilante, so I don't know how the show ends.
I
But
know.
I'm I'm hoping it ends in a place where Deku and Koichi can team up in the future, and maybe we go to the States and we do something fun there to get them out of Japan. Peace is in Japan, and has peace been globally? That's what I want to know. I think that's the next chapter of My Hero. That's where they could go if we get a sequel. But if we don't, I'm happy with what we got, and we'll just check in on Eri in the summer and have some fun there. But anything else, Isaac, that you want to talk about here
Mm.
with My Hero?
Not that I can think of, but I can end off this for those that don't know what I'm talking about. We have aliens in Naruto. We have aliens in Dragon Ball, and the Dragon Ball didn't even start with the aliens. That was C. We had aliens in One Piece, and then we recently got aliens in another ongoing manga. So that got it in the sequel. So there's
Aliens.
a reason why joking of aliens in My Hero Shippuden or whatever it would be called.
I want Deku to fight Starro. That's where we're going to end this episode. Bring Starro.
Yeah.
Let Starro mind control Class A. And Deku's got to 1v1 all his friends and beat the Starfish villain. It ain't got to be Starro. It could be like some mind controlling lady. I
I,
don't care.
I,
But that'd be really
I
cool. We need a
mean,
mind control
I
villain.
mean, Deadpool have done crossover with My Hero Academia, so maybe something regarding Marvel. I don't know if you saw that, but Deadpool have literally
Yeah,
done a
but the anime's
crossover
not going
stuff.
to do that. I'm talking about the anime. Like the manga can do a Marvel
Yeah.
thing. We're never going to see Deadpool or anything in the anime.
I mean, we have them going back into the DC and Marvel crossover comics right now since and
Comics. We're not getting those in movie form, though, is my point. I'm talking about the anime.
fair enough, fair enough. But weirder stuff have happened, I argue.
That it has. That it has. Guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, give us a like, subscribe, so you don't miss a thing. We are talking more anime here on Otaku. I'm probably going to have another My Hero video essay at some point on Novice Cinephile. Isaac, what's happening on your YouTube and Twitch? I see you got that plugged up in your title there.
Yeah. Well, in the ongoing on YouTube, it's Fire Emblem Three Houses, Golden Sun, and Persona 5 Royal. I'm around halfway through Persona 5 Royal, and it's just more heftier than well, it's a beefy game. Let you tell me that. Golden Sun is a already streamed game that missed cut per episode. Same with Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it's about halfway through, so to speak. On
Gotcha.
Twitch side, we recently finished off Pragmata, and all I'm saying, great game, 9 out of 10, but screw you, Capcom. But if you know, you know. But and then next week after this, it will be new Pokemon Snap because I need something relaxing. So
Hey, we love Pokemon. I know a friend that really likes Pokemon. I might need to get you guys connected. Maybe you can do a collab one day. But until next time, guys, like, subscribe, keep watching anime, and maybe for the final time, go beyond.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra. Peace.